I grab another arrow, go to put it in like my rest and pull back, and I jack it off the side of my bow.
Rather than the hunt, you're already pushing her hard.
Yeah.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
My eyes were swollen completely shut. Ladies and gents, welcome back to another episode of Let's Assess. Well, that actually kind of sounded cool.
I like that.
All right, guys, today we're going to dive into a little talk of my archery elk hunt from last year. I'm just going to tell the story, kind of tell some of the tactics that we used to get a bull down. So I'm here with AJ today.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
And he's going to be BSing with me. And then
mess him up mainly.
Yeah, exactly. Make fun of me. And then if you guys are listening to this on a podcast platform, please give us a 5-star review. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and throw some hate in the comments. We love you. All right, so let's jump right into it. So
yeah, and if you guys are, I'm gonna jump in real quick. If you guys like what you're seeing, give us a share us on Facebook, Instagram. Maybe tell a friend. Tell one friend for us. Just help us out a little bit. If you like what you're hearing from us, tell a friend and see if we can make this thing grow. So
yeah, we're just a bunch of goons that are trying to bring some normal outdoor content to the mainstream market here.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Alrighty.
So, okay, so let's dive in. So last year, my goal was to get an archery elk. For those of you who've been listening to the podcast, I love you. As you know, I was fairly new to archery hunting. And I went a year without being successful. And so this year was time to be successful, time to focus. I kind of understand what I was going after. And so now it was time to execute, so to speak. So we started scouting, and we live in a really good spot to hunt. We live in the what people call the elk hunting capital of the world. That's opinion, but that's
the largest
what we're
migrating elk herd in the lower 48.
Yep. So we did a lot of summer scouting, mainly just to BS, and we kind of knew where we were going, but we just did it for fun, and we did it to basically just have a good time, and then obviously look for elk. So we normally do like a backpack type hunt where we carry tents in and we carry water in, and it's like a 5-mile hike in. And we're staying out of a tent. So this year, or last year, I guess it would be, we smartened up, me and my buddy, and we got mules rounded up and stayed at a camp that was 5 miles down the hill. Yeah. But we wanted to stay in the camper. We wanted some of the luxury of hunting. So we got off the ground and got off the tent and the hiking, which I really enjoyed.
Well, you say that, but what are some of the reasons, like why you've tent camped, and then what made you want to do that? Because I think we have a lot of similar reasons why.
Well, dude, I'll tell you the biggest reason why. The biggest reason why I didn't want to tent camp up there was because my allergies were so bad. They were so bad. My eyes were swollen completely shut. I couldn't see anything, and I don't even have allergies. And I live we think it's a sagebrush allergy, but I live in the sagebrush. I'm out there all the time, scouting, riding razors. I don't know why it was that bad, but it was. Yeah. And so, and not only that, but it was, I don't know. I like tent camping, but we just kind of wanted a little
something
more
different.
Yeah.
But in that case, that's one of those things that you guys might not be prepared for when you come out here and hunt is the allergies and stuff, because that sagebrush and that rabbit brush and all that stuff, it's doing its last bloom for the year in the fall, especially when you are hunting, and some of the other grasses and weeds and stuff are blooming that time of the year. Be prepared for that, maybe, because it wrecks both of us for sure. And I'm a big, I have to shower every day, and that's tent camping is rough. I can go 2-3 days and then I got to go get a shower, max.
Yeah. So. And dude, not just sneezing, I'm talking eyes swollen shut, redder than a gosh darn red Christmas ornament. Just so red that people are like, "Are you okay? Are you what's going on with
your health?"
Yeah. So we decided to do the camper, and it was really cool. We stayed. My buddy's grandparents came out, and it was just a really good time sitting by the fire, just having a really good time. And we were basically riding mules into the hunting area before the sun rose every day. And I think, I think that I've seen a lot of hunters that do the tent camping thing, and they'll set up a main camp way up the way. And I think that there's obviously pros to that. You're on the elk, but I think there's also downfall to it when you're making noise all night, when you're, making smells for a week. I mean, I just think it makes the elk a little bit uneasy.
Yeah.
And can push him out of.
They know you're there.
Right.
You're not supposed to be.
And with this, we're like the dark night. We're swooping in right before dark. We're out of there, 11, 12 o'clock, and then we're back, and we tie the horses up and then walk, I'd say like half a mile. So that was kind of our tactics for this hunt. And then, so we went the first day. Archery season opens on September 2nd, I think.
Yeah, something like that. It's early September.
Because it's my birthday,
Yep.
I think. So it opens the 2nd. We hunted the 2nd, and we were on elk. But for those of you who haven't hunted much in archery, early in September, so in Colorado, I don't know if it's this way everywhere, but you get an archery tag is good for a month. An over-the-counter archery tag is good for the month of September. And what normally happens is the, from my experience, the third week-ish, depending on the year, normally the third to fourth week, the elk are in primary rut. So early in the season, they're calling, you can hear them, but they're not really reacting to that call. They're not like rutted up and just stupid. They're not just blowing into places and not being cautious. They're more calling, but they're not moving. At least that's what this bull that I will tell you about.
It's more like a locator, They're just like trying to find other elk. Like, yeah, I'm in the right area at least. You know?
So on the second day, let's get into it. So the second day we went up a little bit early, and we found a spring that we were sitting on, and we were walking this ridge, and we bugled right around, I think it was probably, 5:30 at night, and we heard an elk, and he was down on this spring, and it was not reacting, meaning it was not coming to us. It was kind of just doing its thing, and it was a ways away from us, and we're starting, we were messing with it and seeing what it was going to do. And by the time that we realized it was not going to come, the light situation was kind of a factor.
Yeah, dark, yeah.
And so and here's the other factor. So we're sitting up glassing this elk, and there's a couple other elk in the area, and I'm sitting there, and I see a black bear mom and 2 cubs, and I'm talking like 2 little, or no, there's 3 cubs. I'm talking like little
fluff balls.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's so cute. And so they're walking, and I look at my buddy. I'm like, dude, this is probably a really bad idea. Like, I don't want to be put in a position where I need to shoot, because I carry a pistol for protection along with a bow. I don't want to be in a position where I need to shoot a mom, and those cubs are so small they're going to be dead.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And so
it kind of, not like that's bad enough, but it also like kind of ruins your hunting area for a little bit too,
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's your watering hole, and then you got all that commotion, and then a dead animal right there. Like, just a lot of bad on top of that.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations you just like, you see it, you avoid it.
Well, so anyway, so I see these, they're at one spring drinking, these 3 cubs and a mom. And so they start to leave, and my buddy's like, dude, I say we go down there and we stalk this elk and see how it pans out. Nice. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So we start heading down this hill, and we have eyes on these bears, and they're going away from us. And so they go to the other spring right where where the bull that we were trying to stalk was at. So it was drinking out of the same thing. So I'm like, dude, this is like a National Geographic thing. It's like elk, bear drinking just side by side. And for whatever reason, the elk wasn't spooked at all. And the bear, I mean, it was like it was in a zoo. They were not spooked at all.
Just coexisting.
Yeah. And so we kept eyes on it, and we kind of snuck down the ridge, and we're trying to, my buddy's raking, we're calling, it's not moving. So it starts feeding on this hillside away from us. And I'm like, dude, we're going to be on the ass end of this thing. It's going to be dark. There's no way we're going to get to this thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching this elk, and he's raking and calling, trying to get him to move. And he looks at me, or I look at him, and I'm like, we need to go.
Yep.
And I said, if we blow this elk out of here, it is what it is, but we're going to run out of light.
Yep. Something that always jumps through my head. You know that moment when you're out there, you're like, we got to make a move right now.
Right now.
I always think of that like a song that like would always be something like a high school game, and like be aggressive, be aggressive, right? Like that's what just pops in my head immediately.
Yeah. No, but dude, we always talked about, it's like my buddy is the most ultra aggressive hunter you've ever seen. I mean, like, I have to be like, okay, hold on. Yeah, is this a good idea? Like, I don't know if this is a good idea, because I'm like, dude, I think this is a terrible idea. But a lot of times, I mean, he's successful all the time, and that's because I think he is be aggressive, be aggressive, exactly. Be aggressive. So anyway, I think that's why he's successful. I think there's times to be aggressive, and then I think there's times to hold off. Absolutely. But in this situation, we had to be aggressive. So I'm like, let's go. So I'm like crawling through this grass, probably like a quarter mile, and I lose him. I can't see him. I don't know where he's at. And the sun's going down, and I'm like, dude, he will not come into me. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm like thinking this is probably not going to work out, but whatever. We've already come this far. So at this time, we're probably a mile from the mules.
Okay.
And it's almost dark, and we have like a 4-mile ride on the mules down.
Oh, man.
And so...
And is this first night?
Second night.
All right. So you're early in the hunt. You're already pushing her hard.
Yeah. And so... So I see the elk. I finally see the elk, and I'm like, dude, this is never going to work. Like, this elk is in the middle of, like, I had no cover.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I'm wearing Sitka, so it probably is going to work.
Well, you paid all that money, it better, right?
Yeah. So I see this elk finally, and I'm stalking it, and I'm creeping through the brush, and it's starting to get a little too dark for my liking. So I knock an arrow, and I'm creeping, and my buddy gets out his rangefinder, and he clicks it, and he's like 60 yards, and I'm like, that's too far for my liking. I don't like shooting that far. And so I shoot, and it goes just barely under it. So here my adrenaline. I mean, from the time I saw the black bear, it is just going boom, 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 boom. I can feel my heartbeat in my temples, and I'm like doing the shiver, even though it's warm out. I'm like, oh my God. So I grab another arrow, go to put it in like my rest and pull back, and I jack it off the side of my bow, and it falls in the dirt. And then I'm like looking, I'm like, do I use that arrow? Do I grab it? And I'm like, eh. And I grab another one, put it in there, pull it back, and he goes 55.
Came closer.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, sweet. I can do 55. Can't do 60.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Big difference.
Yeah, way big difference. So I pull back, and dude, I can see its outline, and when I tell the story, I'm kind of ashamed of like, this probably wasn't a great idea, but it turned out to be fine.
In the heat of the moment.
Yeah, in the heat of the moment, it was a great idea.
Yep.
So I pull back, and he goes 55. I'm like, tink, and I hear thunk, and
Nice.
I'm like, oh my God. And my buddy always jokes with me now. I turned around, and he's like, dude, your eyes, I've never seen someone's eyes get that big. And so I turn around to him, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, I think I missed it again. And he goes, didn't you hear that thunk? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I need to get another arrow in it. So I jack another one off the side of the wall. I'm like, ugh! So then I grab it, put it in, and look, and he kind of like moseys off. Like, he doesn't run he kind of just like slowly walks off.
Nice.
And he gets far enough out that it's too dark to see. And so I like
Release.
I release, I don't shoot. And I can hear him walking, and I'm like, dude, I don't think I got him. And he's like, dude, I think you got him. Like, he's shook up. Yep. He's not running. And so he comes, we wait just a second and let him see what he's going to do. And he had walked up on the other ridge hillside. And so we finally saw him. There was a little bit of blood, and then there started to be more and more and more. And he went from where I shot him probably 100 yards. Oh. And in probably 2.5 minutes from there, he was dead.
Oh, wow. Fast.
So I got him right in the neck.
Nice.
And so before we found him, I'm like, dude, he was broadside. I think I got him. And my buddy's like, dude, he was not broadside. He was facing straight at you. Dude, I mean, I was shook. Like, the adrenaline was just so good. I just loved it. And so we found it, and then we went and got the mules, brought the mules over, and then took care of it, took some pictures, gutted it, and then walked for probably an hour and a half. No, probably 2 hours. We got to camp at like 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, man, brutal.
But
worth
dude,
it, though.
let me ask you something. And for those of you that are out there, if you're listening and you feel this way, leave a comment if you agree or if you've ever felt this. When you kill an animal, like you're elk hunting, you have so much adrenaline, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's the same with a rifle. I'm speaking more on archery. The stock, everything like that, you have so much adrenaline going through your body. Have you guys ever felt like so much adrenaline for so long, and then you get calmed down and it just takes everything out of you? Have you ever felt that?
Oh,
like
yeah.
You were just like, you can't keep your eyes open. You're losing it. You're like trying to gut the thing, and you're kind of like, it's dark.
Yeah.
And then so on top of that, I'm thinking, is this bear staring at us? I know he's right here.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, have the pistol out, and I'm like, dude, I hope this bear doesn't come. But it was an adventure to say the least, and it was a successful hunt. My first successful archery hunt. So it was pretty cool for me. But that, going back to that, dude, like, I've seen it with my buddy too, like hunting with him. When he killed his bull the year before, everything was like hyped up. Like, we were happy. We were like, oh my God, this is sweet. And then it's like 30 minutes after you kill, it was late at night, but like I was still doing okay because I had adrenaline, but not that like extreme level of adrenaline.
Yep.
And dude, he was starting to fade.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, dude, I don't know if I can do this, dude. Like, and so he literally was like, we're done. We're not packing this out tonight. We're going to hang it in a tree and come get it tomorrow. Like, I cannot do this. And I've never seen him like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe it was just us, but it was like that experience of you have so much adrenaline that it just drains your entire like nervous system and makes you want to sleep.
Well, it's like you burn all that energy. Like, like you are burning so much energy in that peak of adrenaline, and then you come off of it. Like, it's like,
whoa.
It's just like a sugar crash, like you just like done.
Yeah.
And like you just like everything that led up to that moment, you peaked, and then finally like everything starts to relax, and everything does. And then you get tired. Definitely can relate there for sure.
Yeah.
So.
No, dude, and the thing, like, looking back on that, like, I think the biggest takeaway from that when we were doing it was we were aggressive. We were BE aggressive. We were doing that.
Aggressive.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, we were aggressive with, like, enough patience to be successful. Like, we were patient when we needed to be patient. Because, like, when I tell the story, it's like, it probably seems like that stalk was 5 minutes. That stalk took 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So you're aggressive when you can be, but then also you got to know when to be patient. Like when he's up and looking around, like obviously you're not running at him, for sure.
But in like certain spots, we'd stay for, 25 minutes waiting to see what he'd do.
Yep.
And it was the coolest thing I've done in hunting. It was just like, dude, the adrenaline, like, I mean, all the stars aligned. I didn't get winded. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't seen. I was seen after he got shot, but I was, dude, just knocking arrows into the dirt.
yeah.
And dude, I literally looked at my buddy afterwards. I'm like, dude, I'm out of arrows. Cause I shot two
and you had
then
dropped
I jacked two.
Yep.
Like, Jesus. So that is kind of my archery hunt.
No, that's awesome. I love it.
It was eventful, but it was kind of, the hunting season overall was kind of uneventful because second day we're done.
Second day, yep. Which, you know, I mean, that's just the way it is. When the stars align, it goes right like that. You know,
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be a long hunt, but it's every bit as draining either way. You know, I mean, it's a roller coaster. So.
The thing that I've learned with archery, and maybe if you're like an absolute expert, it's different. But if you're like a normal archery hunter, you can't be as picky as you think you can be.
Yeah, no.
Like I was the year before, I was like, dude, I'm gonna hold out for a little while to get like a good bull. That's like my mindset going into the season. I want a big bull. But dude, like you're running, if you're on public lands over the counter, archery, and then you got to work during the week, or maybe you take a week, dude.
Even,
like the chances are way slimmer. So you have to like understand that, know that going in, and be like, if I see a bull, but it's like with you, if it doesn't get you excited, then don't kill it.
Yeah. And as you kill more, like you're gonna start feeling that same, like, okay, I gotta beat this one. Even this year, you're probably gonna be like, I want one slightly bigger than the one I already killed, right?
But dude, I was ecstatic for the bull that I got.
Oh, absolutely.
And it wasn't a,
and
monster, but
I think, you know, like especially archery hunting, and like this never actually even leaves with archery hunting, is it's about opportunity. You know, like you have to make every stalk like that you can, because, you know, if you see, like in my situation, even if you see a good bull, like you better make that stalk, because you might learn from it. You might, you know, figure out something you didn't know, or use the terrain, you know, etc. Like you have to make every stalk, and you make it count. You know, if it's worth making, you got to do it. So
no, it was definitely, it worked out well. Stars aligned.
I think that's a really cool point out of your story that I gathered there, was like, even though with that bear and everything there, like you still made the move, you know, like you went for it, you did it, you know, it was 2.5 hours later, obviously, you know, but if
we got mauled by the bear,
then I'd be sitting here going, you dumbass, you know,
what an idiot.
Yeah.
But it
could have told you that.
Out. Yeah.
You know, hindsight's always 20/20 on that, but if you don't take that chance, you'll never know. You know, you have to go for it.
But that's like the stuff that, you know, the whole hunt makes you feel alive, but you're stalking an elk, you feel like there's a bear right here with cubs, which is even more dangerous, more stupid, and being under the stars, you know, having to gut it and feel the weight of the meat and all that, that's what makes you feel alive, and that's why, you know, you should hunt.
Yeah.
And those of you who have done it, you know it. But I think that's where I wrap it up.
Awesome. Well, great story. Thanks for sharing with us. I loved it.
I tried to make her quick, but all right, guys, we appreciate it. We appreciate all the love that we've gotten, and we're going to keep this thing rolling. If you have any ideas for topics, if you guys want us to shoot, you know, an informational podcast on something that you're struggling with, can't find online, leave it down in the comments. Message us on Instagram at cookbros or Stofel800.
Yeah. And don't limit those ideas. You know, if you got any ideas for any topic, you know, kind of outdoorsy, you know, we're you know, covering outdoors. So whatever you have, that way, if you got a question on even snowmobiling, whatever, like, you know, shoot it our way, and we will try to get to it for sure. Or not try to, we will get to it.
We will get to it. All right, guys, we love you. We appreciate the support. And until next time, peace out.
Catch you at the next one.